Hi everybody, happy Tuesday.
Happy
Miss
Tuesday,
Alicia.
Tuesday afternoon. How's it going?
It's going good.
I'm excited. We kind of touched on it in our videos this morning when we talked about the season. What season are we learning about today, Miss Sierra?
We are learning about the season of fall, the season that we're in right now.
Fall. We are in fall.
I know we have talked about fall quite a few times, but we are going to really focus on what happens in the fall.
All right. Fall.
So, one of the things you might notice when you go outside is something changes with what's on the trees.
The leaves, Miss Sierra. The leaves are changing color. I love when I'm at my house, I can sit out on the porch and I can see all the different leaves. The leaves change color. I see red leaves and I see green leaves, or I see a few green leaves, but they're changing. Red leaves, orange leaves, yellow leaves.
The green are becoming lighter and changing in those other colors. So sometimes you might see green on one side and red on the other side.
I know, yeah. And then sometimes, I know, not yet, but soon the leaves will be brown once they fall to the ground.
And when they're on the ground, what that happens is they dry up, and when you walk on them, they crunch.
Oh, I love that crunching sound of leaves.
Especially after a frost and there's some frozen water on them.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, so we have our leaves changing and what they do and how they do it and what they sound like. Let's talk about how much sunlight we see.
Well, I remember from our morning meetings when we talk about the month of October. In October, we see the moon was out because it's darker. We have less sun out. There is less sun, especially at night. I think we used to be able to be outside later. Now the sun goes down and it's darker. And even in the morning when I'm getting ready, it's still dark out.
Yeah, so usually after dinner, my family, we go outside and play in the yard. But we've been having dinner later so we can go outside before dinner because it gets so dark. And then we eat dinner, we watch a movie, and we go to bed.
Yeah. So definitely in the fall there's less sun. But you know what else I notice changes? And we kind of talk about this in morning. We talk about it in morning meeting. Man, we talk about a lot in morning meeting. The weather.
The weather does change.
Because I had to get into my closet, friends, and get out a coat. Because it is getting cooler. And I know in the forecast this week, it is supposed to be rainy. And I was outside kind of on Monday or Tuesday, and outside earlier today, and the wind was blowing.
Yeah.
So
it gets very windy in the fall, and that's because in other areas there are big bursts of wind going called hurricanes, and that's why it's so windy here in the fall time. And we're getting kind of the leftover wind from those big, huge storms in the ocean.
Wow.
And that's where our rain comes from.
Yeah, so it's definitely we're getting cooler, rainy weather and windy weather. Oh, it's our sweater weather. We might be wearing some sweater weather. What else do we see in the fall?
So animals do different things in the fall time.
Ooh, you know what I see sometimes, especially this time? I see lots of squirrels out, and they're getting their nuts, and they're hiding them. They're getting their big cheeks all puffed up. Oh, I can't really see it in my mask, but they're getting ready for winter. They're getting ready for things. We're going to talk about it. I'll give you a hint in a few weeks. Hibernation. So they're preparing for hibernation. You know what also I see? I have to make sure I tell my brother and my sister this when they are driving, when they come to visit me and then they're going home, is they need to watch out for the deer.
So there are so many deer out right now.
The deer are out right now. Do you know why the deer are out, Miss Sierra?
There are a few reasons why the deer are out.
Well, one reason is, I know it's because I used to live out in the country a lot, is the farmers are harvesting all their corn and their vegetables and their fruits, and they're harvesting their crops, and sometimes they'll drop their parts of their crop and the deer are going out to eat.
They go all over, so they start to cross roads this time of year. to find food in places where they haven't, where they've eaten it all year.
Yep.
And then there's also something called hunting season, Miss Alicia.
Oh.
So some people go out and they hunt animals, and right now it's deer. It's hunting season.
Hunting season.
So the deer are moving because there are people out in the woods that normally aren't. So the deer are moving.
Yeah. So it's something that's not familiar to them, so they're going and they're kind of hiding.
And you know what else?
What else?
The babies
What babies?
are leaving home.
Oh,
They're finding their own places to live.
I know. In the spring, you'll see little baby deer with some spots. Now those baby deer are getting bigger, and they're getting little horns, antlers. They call them button. They call them button bucks. Little nubs on their head.
And that is why
part
the deer are moving.
Yeah.
And a lot of animals are moving because of that.
Yeah.
You know, they see humans, us people in the woods where we normally aren't, and they start running. And so we have to be extra careful when we're in our cars driving.
Yeah.
So when you're driving at night, make sure you watch for deer for your parents.
Yeah. And I think one other thing I know about fall, and we talked about this thing a week or two ago.
What's that?
Apples.
Apples.
Apple time. It is apple time. It's the best
Pumpkin
season.
time.
Pumpkins. We're probably going to talk about that next week.
We are.
It's a good time for harvesting your crops,
Yeah.
your fruits and your vegetables. So I think that's a good explanation of fall. Weather is
A
changing.
lot of good ideas.
Leaves.
And of course, there's tons more happening, but this is what we will.
Yeah.
Cover for
I mean,
today.
we could even put holidays in there if we wanted.
Yeah.
Fall, there's so many things about fall that you can know about. What do you know about fall? Can you tell us, maybe in the comment below, what your favorite thing about fall is? I know mine, I think, is the weather. The weather. I like the cooler,
chilly.
the cooler weather with like a sweatshirt, things like that. All right, friends, that is all for today. We will see you on Wednesday.